Hi everyone, my name is Electric Donkey and welcome to another GameMaker tutorial. So today we're back on the NPCs tutorial little example thing that we're writing here. And today we're going to start work on the kind of basic NPC, which is the dialogue NPC, which will also build up to the quest one and finally the inventory one. So again, we're still kind of making this base, but it is something now that you'll actually be able to test and see it working. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into macros and all configurations. So what we're actually going to want to do here is set an interact key. Just like this, interact key. And what this will do is because it's in the macros, it means it will set it right at the start of the game, and we can use it pretty much anywhere. So it's going to be keyboard check or so just like a normal bit of code, and we're going to use let's use E. It's got to be capitals, remember, and then close that off like that. So now we will be able to use this interact key variable wherever we want, and it'll always be there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to open up our object player. So if you think about it, what we're going to want to do in the player is we're going to want to trigger the NPC. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep it away from the NPC itself, because then you could have multiple NPCs but on the player, where there's only ever going to be one player. So again, making it quite flexible. So the first thing we're going to do really quickly is just add an alarm, and this is going to be 0. And just remember to drag a bit of code in so that you don't forget it. Don't forget this. Now what we're going to do is go into a create event, and we've got some more variables to write in. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put a little comment here so we know what we're putting. So this is the maximum distance to open the dialogue. I don't know if I spelled that right. And this is going to be max dis equals 100. So what this is going to be is we can have a nice flexible variable which is within the range of the NPC. You can actually talk to him. So out of that range it'll close down, within that range it'll be fine. You can open and close it as much as you want. But also we've got the alarm so that it doesn't just randomly open and close as soon as you press E, because that's what it sometimes does. So we're going to go into that a little bit later. So that is almost it. We've got one more, and this is quite important actually. It's set the NPC dialogue to start closed. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a global variable which is NPC mode, which is going to store how our NPC is currently being interacted with. So for this, to start off with, we want it to be closed, so it's going to be false. It's when we interact with it, which we'll go and do now, that's when we will actually open it up. So we're going to add another bit of code just to make it a bit easier. So we've got a nice little block, and this is going to be interact with the NPC. Now this is quite big and complicated, but don't worry, because we're going to comment it up so we kind of know what we're going to do. So firstly we're going to want to check if the NPC is in the, well, let's put within the required distance. So we're going to use this by going if point distance, our x, our y, and then our object NPC x, object NPC, oops, y is smaller than max distance, then we can move on to our next check. And the next check is going to be check to see that the dialogue is able to open again. And this is going to prevent any flickering or anything. So this will check whether we're within the time, and also you can have a limit how often you can talk to, so people don't spam it. And this is just checking if our alarm equals nothing. So finally we're going to check to see if the interact, which we already set, key is being pressed or tapped. And then we're going to see which mode the NPC is at the moment and change the variable accordingly, which we won't write out. You can if you want to, but I'm not going to because it's quite long. So then we're going to use if interact key. So this will just check whether our key is being pressed, so in this case E, and global.npc mode is currently equal to false. So if we're not got the dialog open, we want to open it and we're pressing the key, then we want to do this. So this is global npc mode equals true. This will open the dialog. And also we want to set the alarm to being, I think I set it to, yeah, room speed divided by 2. So this means you won't be able to notice it, it'll be less than a second, it'll be half a second, but it'll be just enough so it doesn't get spammed up. So interact key. So otherwise, if we're pressing the interact key and the global, actually, if we're pressing the key, the only other option is that it's false. So what this will do is say, if we've got it open already and we want to close it, then we're going to do the exact opposite. Global.npc mode equals false, and again we're going to set the alarm to equal room speed divided by 2. Again, there's quite a flexible function, so depending on how fast your room's going, it'll change. Now finally we're just going to add another else statement here to say if we're out of the distance. So if we've currently got it open, so what this will do is if we move out of the, let me just full screen this, out of the NPC range, then we want to close the dialog. And this is something that I don't really see happening in many even modern games, is where if you kind of move out of its range, a lot of the time it still keeps open, which, you know, you can have shops that have suddenly migrated halfway along the map, which isn't that good really. And all we want to do is global.npc mode equals false, and this will just automatically close it down. So at the minute this will do absolutely nothing, but it's doing it all behind the scenes. So actually let's just create something really quickly. Let's do it in our movement bit. We'll just stick it right at the top, up here, and we'll do show debug message string, and then we'll have to do global.npc mode. So this will give us some indication of how our NPC mode is changing, even though really at the minute it's not, the NPC mode isn't set to do anything. And technically this kind of function here, we work for anything pretty much. So if you're having any sort of dialogue, anything you want to open up like an inventory, this would also kind of work. You probably want to remove the else to see if we're out of range, and even the range bit itself if you're doing an inventory, but you can see here this is currently false, I believe. So if we press E, oh, you can see it briefly changed, I think. Let's just go and check this quickly. I'm pretty sure that that's all working, but probably something's not. It doesn't like this if statement, or this bit, it probably doesn't like that or something. So let's just get rid of that really quickly. And and let's just check over this quickly, just make sure we've done everything. In the next video we'll be able to test it properly with drawing of it all. Yeah, that'll be why we weren't in the range, were we? So wait, let's just add that back in again really quick so you can actually see that it is working. I forgot about the range entirely. Global.npc mode. Right, now if we run this, it should work if we get in within that range of the NPC, because I completely forgot about that. Because in my initial one that I made, I forgot to put the range in, and then I kind of looked back at it and thought, yeah, I'll need to put the range in, so that's probably why. Right, let's see now. So we're not in range at the minute, it doesn't do anything. What if we walk within the range? Should be about here. Yep, you see it's changed. And let's close it again. There you go. So this will actually open a visual bit up here, which you can then program later on. So if you are enjoying this series, remember to like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you later.